Pokemon Horizons Episode 6, the Ancient Pokeball, just aired and you won't believe what happened. Let's talk about it. The episode begins right where we left off in the last episode. Amethio tries to grab hold of Liko's pendant, but the pendant creates a barrier protecting Liko from Corviknight's attack. At the same time, Roy's Pokeball also glows in a similar fashion. What could this possibly mean? Something I noticed immediately from Horizons is that they like to start episodes off with like a mini recap of the events from the last episode, and I much prefer Journeys starting off the episodes right away style, but it's just a small detail that I thought I would like to share. As Friede tries to go rescue Liko and Roy, Cocnia and Xur stop him by commanding their Skarmories to attack. Amethio now calmly approaches Liko and recalls Corviknight back into its Pokeball. He proposes that they battle to see who gets to keep the pendant. Liko and Roy reluctantly yet bravely agree to this proposal as they put their trust in their partner Pokemon. It's a 2v1 battle of Sprigatito and Fuecoco versus Ceruledge. The starters attack with Leafage and Ember, but Ceruledge easily shatters it away. Liko and Roy surround Amethio and try to attack them from opposite ends, but Ceruledge is just too strong for them to handle, using Psycho Cut to counter both and also deal damage to them. Fuecoco and Sprigatito are weakened to the point of activating their Blaze and Overgrow abilities, Sprigatito managing to distract Ceruledge with Leafage as Fuecoco goes for an attack with Ember, dealing a good chunk of damage. This attack actually confirms that Amethio Ceruledge has its hidden ability Weak Armor because its other ability is Flash Fire and it didn't proc with Ember. And it's not like they weren't thinking about abilities because they went out of their way to show the abilities of Fuecoco and Sprigatito. I guess Ceruledge's other ability could be to have you like this video if you're enjoying it, but I'm not really sure, but I do hope that it's his ability because that would be honestly sick. The two babies happily celebrate, but it's cut short as Ceruledge quickly retaliates with Phantom Force, leaving both of them vulnerable. Ceruledge goes for the final strike, but Roy runs to protect them. Liko tries to stop Roy from getting hurt as she hopes for a miracle to save them. The miracle comes true as both her pendant and Roy's Pokeball glow again, and coming out of the Pokeball is none other than shiny Rayquaza. This was such an epic reveal and showcase of the Rayquaza. I think they handled it excellently. We had all of the adults super confused because some of them have never even seen this Pokemon before, and we got to see the raw strength that it holds. In a cute scene, Murdock's Rockruff tries to play with a wild Shelder only for the clam to clamp onto its tail. Maybe Rockruff is going to evolve into Rockbro. Orla says that the ship is finally repaired and ready to fly, and Ludlow gives Quaxly this bud in which the duck peeks to destruction. This of course alluding to the fact that they want us to believe that he's Nidothing. Next, we get a scene of Nidothing teaching trainers about legendary Pokemon. What a coincidence. Which kind of drives down the fact that Ludlow could very well be it, or at least close to Liko. If you notice, all of the Nidothing episodes always have to deal with a problem of the day, so it'd be a cool way for Ludlow to tell Liko and give her indirect advice. Back on the island, Roy and Liko talk about the shiny Rayquaza that they just saw. Mollie informs Friede that both Sprigatito and Fuecoco have recovered from their battle, so they all, but especially Roy, excitedly go back to the ship to go check on them. In the ship, Friede's Charizard gives Fuecoco a Pokeball, telling him some sort of message. Roy shouts in front of the ship, screaming about how he wants to be partners with Fuecoco. Fuecoco kinda looks like he's stuttering, and it turns out that the croc was holding the Pokeball in its mouth, which he gives it to Roy. Now Roy knows what to do, and Fuecoco also wants to be partners with him, which ties well with Roy's conversation with Friede in the last episode about how a trainer and Pokemon should both choose each other to become partners. Roy finally catches Fuecoco, making the start of a lifelong friendship. This was an amazingly done capture in my opinion, as we truly saw that they both accepted each other as partners and it wasn't just some random selection. I hope I'm not the only person who enjoys the Roy and Fuecoco choice better than Liko right now. These two were literally meant for one another. Now Friede and Liko both invite Roy to join the Rising Volt Tacklers as they travel to the Paldea region. Roy is unsure if his grandpa will approve of him journeying with them, and he's kind of sad for Fuecoco having to leave them, but the old man comes out of nowhere and engages in a conversation with his grandson. Roy expresses his desire to become a Pokemon trainer and go on a journey, saying that the more he travels the world, the more likely he'll be able to meet shiny Rayquaza again. But Roy's grandpa is one step ahead of him as he already packed Roy's things for his journey. He gives him a bag containing important stuff for traveling. This was another beautifully handled moment in the episode as Roy's grandpa explained how just yesterday, Roy was only worried about his own dreams, but now he's out here worrying about Fuecoco's too. Roy told his grandpa that not only does he want to meet various legendary Pokemon, but he also wants to help Fuecoco become a strong and cool fire type like Friede's Charizard. I genuinely enjoyed their conversation, and it was such a wholesome and bonding moment between Roy and his grandfather, with Roy promising to let his grandfather ride on Rayquaza when he returns to the islands after his adventure. In the Explorers headquarters, Amethio reports to their boss Gibeon saying that he wasn't able to covet the pendant due to unforeseen circumstances. Another member of the Explorers mocks Amethio for his failure before Amethio walks out of the room. Amethio is so angry and he punches the wall and claims that he's gonna head towards Rayquaza. I'm guessing he's gonna take a picture of it or something to prove that it's real because the other guy kind of didn't believe that it existed. Another great plot brought up by this episode was the internal turmoil within the Explorers organization at the moment. It clears that there's some high tension between Amethio and what I assume is another Explorers like admin. It feels that at some point Amethio's gonna turn on the Explorers for not having believed him about the Rayquaza, and we can even see him turn around and become a good guy. Only time will tell for now, but I do have a hunch about that. Back on the island, the Rising Voltaclers officially welcome Roy to the squad as Captain Pikachu salutes him and Orla does the group's handshake thingy, which definitely needs a little bit more practice. Before leaving, Roy hands Friede the red flag that he found a few episodes ago, and they excitedly put the flag back up. The brave Asagi sets sail through the skies, and we see the people in Roy's small town cheering him on in his upcoming adventure. Liko and Roy stare at the sunset, excited for their upcoming adventure. With that, the Rising Voltaclers finally travel for Paldea. Wow, I don't know what to say about this episode that's negative. It was a beyond solid episode that wrapped up with this small Roy Island arc very well. We got to see Roy finally catch Fuecoco and become an official member of the Rising Voltaclers. Not only did I like the lead up to catching Fuecoco so much, I'd argue it was one of my favorite Pokemon captures ever. It was done so well. But another thing that this episode did so well of was the story with Amethio. Like I said earlier, I think that we'll get some intriguing story stuff with him in the future, and I'm very much excited for it. Out of the 6 episodes that we had thus far, I think that this was probably the best in my opinion, as there wasn't ever a dull point at all throughout it, and watching it just made me want to watch more of it honestly. With that being said, my rating for this episode is a 9 out of 10. Not quite a perfect episode, but it was pretty darn close. I only want to use whole numbers for my ratings in Pokemon Horizons, and I was close to rating it a 10, but I settled with 9 since I feel like it wasn't 10 material. Now, next week we're going to be getting a training montage episode with Captain Pikachu doing his captain duties and training both Liko and Roy to get stronger in battle. If they want to stand a chance against Explorers in the future, they're definitely going to have to get stronger, or they won't stand a chance if the adults aren't with them. And honestly, besides Friede, it doesn't seem like the others can defend them all that well. Maybe after this training they'll be able to hold off for at least a little bit, but as it stands right now, Amethio is definitely way stronger than they both are combined. We'll also get apparently some information about a secret member of the Rising Voltaclers that lives in the room with Quaxly, so it's kind of hinting towards a Nidothing reveal, but it could be anything or nothing at all, who knows. All I know is that Pokemon Horizons is fantastic and has got me really hooked on wanting to watch every week. What about you guys? Today's question of the day is about Nidothing, of course. Because it looks like we're going to get a reveal next week, who do you think is behind Nidothing's costume? My answer would be Ludlow because of all the hints that they have dropped throughout the episodes, but at the same time it could be purposely done to throw us off. Anyways, make sure to answer the question in the comments below using the hashtag QOTD, so I know you're a real one for making it to the end of the video. I also urge you to join the Discord server if you want to watch this episode or the others for yourself, or if you just want to talk about it with like-minded individuals. Become a member of the channel too to help support it, or you can just drop a like as it's a free way to do so as well. Of course, if you made it this far into the video, I want to say that I truly appreciate you. But with that being said, it's been your boy Luap, and I'm out. Peace.